Hello again and welcome to another Mordian Glory video, and today we're bringing you this video from inside the halfway done new YouTube studio, the Mordian Glory Battle Bunker. My voice might be a little echoey because there's no furniture in here at the moment, so I'm going to try and speak a little bit quieter than I normally do so you don't get too much of a bad echo. Now I'm really excited to show off some of the new terrain that I've got planned for the channel. Hopefully, as you know, if the UK lockdown restrictions continue to ease as per the government's plan, we'll be able to do some proper battle reports in the battle bunker in May, which is only about a month away, so fingers crossed everything continues to go to plan. And one of the things I've been doing over lockdown is looking at ways to take the channel to the next level, hence why we're doing a dedicated studio, not doing things on the dining room table anymore. But another thing that I've been looking at is terrain. Now, I've got a lot of MDF terrain and it's pretty good, but I find MDF terrain to be quite bulky and a bit restrictive, and also it takes a lot of time and effort to paint. So one of the things I've been looking into is pre-painted terrain, but it can often be very, very expensive. And again, it's often resin, it's very bulky, and after a while it starts chipping, and the paint schemes that they come with can be a bit basic. So I thought, it's good, pre-painted resin terrain, can't go wrong, but is there another route? Can I forge my own path and try something a bit different? And what I came across is cardboard terrain. Now, if any of you have watched my old battle reports from back in 7th edition, you'll know that I used to do a lot of my battle reports on the old Necromunda terrain, literally the terrain from 1995, and I've had that terrain pretty much since when it came out, and it's lasted a really, really long time. In fact, once I was up and running, I gave that terrain to my brother who has his own YouTube channel, and he uses it for his battle reports. So 20 years later that stuff is still going. But I thought, come on, someone must have taken that idea of cardboard terrain and run with it between now and 1995, and they have. And there's an absolutely fantastic little company in the UK called Battle Systems, whose entire unique selling point is they do modern, what they call die-cut terrain, which is basically high density, quite durable cardboard modular terrain, and that's what we're looking at here today. Now, I want to say straight up, this video is not a paid promotion. Battle Systems haven't sent me anything for free or anything like that. I've received no money for this. I've gone and done my own research, and I've gone and bought this with my own money so that I can give a totally fair and unbiased, I almost said unbalanced, but a totally fair and unbiased review. And I am going to be pretty fair on this, but this, I'm going to say straight out of the gate, I like it. I dare I say, I love it. It very much is Necromunda classic cardboard terrain 2.0, and I think it is really, really good. I am hoping that this is something that we're going to be using a lot of this terrain in the future on the channel, and I'm really excited to use it because I think it's really good, and I think it's a really viable alternative to the resin terrain, the Games Workshop terrain that most people that you find are using in their battle reports. Maybe this will be a bit of a fool's notion, I don't know, but so far from what I've seen, I'm very impressed with it, and I'm going to be getting more of this stuff. So let's dive. So that's the introduction and why we're putting this terrain together. Let's take a little bit of an overview now of what kits I have managed to get my hands on so far. So first thing to say, real quick, I actually got all my terrain that you're going to be seeing today from Goblin Gaming. Again, no affiliation, no paid promotion. They don't know they're getting this shout out, but I tend to try and do these things when I come across something good. And Goblin Gaming, fantastic little independent retailer in the UK. They give between 10 and 20% off really fast, and they give you a good percentage off things that aren't models. So, for example, all this terrain was just, I think, 15% off, which is quite nice. It was already very affordable, and then getting 15% off on it as well, and then getting some free shipping thrown in, can't really go wrong. So, yeah, check out Goblin Gaming. Again, not affiliated with them, no paid promotion, but they just did a good job, so I figured they deserved a shout out. Anyway, let's crack on with the review. When I say review, it's more of a sneak preview of what's going to be coming for the channel. So what we're looking at here is the Gothic Ruins Set from Battle Systems, and this cost me about 20 quid, and you get everything that you see here, and I pretty much used all of the bits that I got. They do come with a fantastic amount of bits though, and yeah, I mean, straight out of the bat, you get a lot of freebies with Battle Systems. You get a lot of extra scatter terrain. You don't just get sort of the building on the front, you get everything else. Now if we take a closer look at this, you can see that some of the detail on these ruins is really, really good. And it's all totally modular. And it's very, very customizable. So, for example, this isn't even glued in here. If I just am careful, it's quite a snug fit, but if I'm careful, that comes off. And then I can just slot it back in. And there you go, pretty sturdy. Likewise, you can choose whether to pop the windows out or not. So if you look here, you can actually see this door, if I try and do this carefully, will pop out if I want it to, or it'll stay in if I want. So there you go, lots of flexibility there. So if, for example, this big gap that you see here, you could have a big stained glass window, and I've kept the parts for that, so if I want to, I can put the stained glass window back in there. So really, really good. We'll go for some sort of top down so you can have a bit of a look on the inside. Apologies for the glare, still getting used to the lighting system. There we go. So you can see it's really, really quite good, and it goes very nicely on this Games Workshop battle mat. Now this is, like I said, this and some of the doors, some of the bigger doors, they come with these little stands, and if you look, so you can have, oh yeah, nice open doorway for people to go through, or you know what, we want to block line of sight through that today. There we go, line of sight officially blocked. So it's really good little stuff. It's very modular. It goes together with these little plastic clips. I'll show you an example of one of those now. So it goes together with little plastic clips like this, so you can see just pushes in either side, and you can choose to keep them clipped together if you want, or they very easily unclip as well. So we'll try and show you an example of that. So I might not be able to do it one-handed because they are quite sturdily put together, but you can see just unclipped there, and if I want it to go back together I can do. I'm going to try and do it one-handed, but it's kind of difficult. There you go, back together. So it's not, it might be clipped together, and it might just be clipped together under a bit of friction essentially, but as you saw, it was actually kind of difficult for me to pull that apart and then push it back in together. So it's definitely, look, if I move this around, it's not going to fall apart. You know, anyone knocking the models over or rolling some dice into this terrain, it's not going to spring apart at the first instance. So that's a really big positive. And as I've mentioned, you do get a lot of extra freebies. So it comes in these cardboard sheets, and I'll show you an example of those now. So here you go, here's an example of the cardboard sheet, and obviously I've popped all this out, but you can see there's very little weighted space on one of these things. So that's really good. And I think the reason there's no weighted space is they give you an absolutely crap load of extra scatter terrain, extra bits. I've got a small pile of just extra bits that I've not even used yet. So really, really cool stuff. So overall, what I really like about this terrain, what I think is really good and why I'm really excited to use it for the channel, is that it's very easy to put together. It's very modular. I've put these together like this, and as you can see, each ruin is unique. Okay, every single one of those ruins is unique, and you could disassemble this all entirely and rebuild it again differently each time. So it's also small enough, though, it's pretty compact enough, because it's cardboard. You don't need to worry about, you know, snapping bits or anything like that. You can just shove it in a box, and or if you're worried about storage, and if you can't be bothered disassembling and reassembling each time, you can just do that. It's fine. It doesn't take up much room at all. However, if storage is at a premium, you just take it apart and you can fit this entire set into like a really, really small, like basically a shoebox. You could fit all the terrain that we're talking about and more into a shoebox. That's how good it is when you flat pack it, because it's literally just, it's all 2D essentially, so it just flat packs really easily. Now, that's the good stuff. It would be remiss of me not to, you know, mention some of the drawbacks, because, you know, this is meant to be a pretty fair review. So some of the concerns, some of the small drawbacks are that even with the fantastic art, and it does go a long way to making it pop and try and make it 3D, at the end of the day, this is 2D terrain in many ways. Like, you know, none of these pipes or anything that you can see here are more than just pictures. And of course you do have to have these little clips that connect all, which when you zoom out from a distance you don't really notice them too much, but when someone points them out and when you get up close and personal you do notice it. So it's really well detailed, but will it be as immersive as good old 3D Games Workshop terrain? I don't know yet. We're going to have to do a few battle ports and find out. The other thing I would mention is it is cardboard. And that actually, I'm not talking about the durability. The durability stuff is absolutely fantastic. I'm a bit of a clumsy person. Like it's fallen on the floor a few times already, no issues there. What I would say is you do have to be a little careful when popping it out of the cardboard sheet that it comes in, because if you're not careful, it will take some of the artwork with it, and then you're going to get these white patches. At the end of the day, it's actually happened in the 2 or 3 kits that I've put together now. This is the second major kit that I've put together. It's happened twice, I think, and it was very, very minor. So it's not a big deal at all, but it's just something to be aware of. You don't want to have big white strips missing on your terrain. So it is durable, but you know, it is also, you've got to be careful. It's only 2D and it's only printed on stuff. But it is, like I said, pretty damn cheap. I mean, you are getting a full set of ruins with scatter terrain here for about £20. There's the equivalent thing in Games Workshop, if you wanted to get 4 decent bits of ruins, could easily set you back. Well, I won't exaggerate, but you would easily be looking at £50 to £75. So even at my most conservative estimate, you're looking at more than double the monetary cost if you were to go the Games Workshop route. More than likely, you're looking at 3 or 4 times the cost. So it's very, very affordable, and it is so easy to put together. I put this whole set together in about half an hour to an hour. I could have put it together in half an hour if I'd done a couple of these kits, but I was doing a few of the bits. I was sort of watching TV at the same time, so it took me an hour. So to put this whole set together in an hour, and it's fully painted and ready to go, it's fantastic. So to sort of summarise, it is really quick, it's really cheap, and it's pretty damn detailed, and it's very, very flexible. I could take all these apart and reassemble them again, and they'd look totally different. Now, one other thing I want to mention that's a really big positive is this scatter terrain. It seems that every kit comes with a lot of scatter terrain, and it's all really, really cool. So they seem to throw these little turbine things and these little generators in left, right and centre, which is really cool. And yes, this is still cardboard. You can see the sort of, it's got half cuts in it, so it folds. It's a really little neat idea. So you get one of those. You get in this kit you get a command chair, which is really cool. A couple of crates. They seem to throw these crates into every kit as well, and they also seem to throw these consoles in, which are really cool. Look how detailed that console is. Like, fair play. Like, that is really, really well done. And then in this particular kit, they threw in a random column. I have to admit, I think this was a bit of a, oh, what the hell do we do? We've got a bit of space left on the sheet. Screw it, just throw a random bit of foldable cardboard in there. We'll see that someone will make use of it. I think if you added some of these spines to it and put a spine on each end, it would look a bit better, but it doesn't have a lid. So that would be, I'd say this is the weakest part of the scatter terrain out of all the kits that I've seen so far. But you get loads of it, and what's really cool is it all just slots together, and you don't really, when it's out like that, you don't really appreciate the extra stuff that it adds. But you bang it on top of a ruin like that, and already that ruin is looking 10 times better. Let's pick one of these crates up. I haven't glued these together, but you can glue the lid on. But and literally chuck a crate in there. Let's get a command console. Put that outside there. And straight away, you can see that chair, you can see that command console, you see that crate. That's 3 tiny bits of scatter. It's making a huge difference. Literally throw that generator in there. Throw this crate on this corner here. And look. 5 tiny bits of scatter and the board's already coming alive, and these come free. In every single kit that you buy, you're going to get these. So by the time you've got yourself a few of these kits, you're going to be ladled, absolutely laden with scatter. Like, I'm not even showing you all the scatter here. They give, in this kit, they gave you like 20 little bricks that you could scatter around. You see how like in like other battle ports, you see them like scatter little bricks and stuff around the corner of the buildings. You get those bricks, like a few of those bricks in this kit. So I think this Gothic Ruins kit is absolutely a steal. Okay, they do some other kits which are great, but this one is particularly good value. You could, with one of these games, if you're getting in to get Warhammer 40k for the first time, if you're a new player, you're getting your first 500 points, 1,000 points games together. You get one of these Games Workshop sets, which again you can get from Goblin Gaming for 20% off. So you get one of these sets, which comes with 2 of these mats. You put those together, you get a set of this terrain, and maybe a couple of other bits we're going to look at in a moment. You're looking at a full battlefield put together for terrain, fully painted, 60 quid, I reckon. If you push the boat out, you could be looking at 70 quid. In terms of, if you were to go down the direct Games Workshop route for that, I wouldn't even want to think about it. I'm not going to exaggerate the cost because I don't know off the top of my head, but you know, a lot of Games Workshop terrain is like 50 quid for one piece. So if you're getting into this for the first time, I would really, really strongly recommend this. It's a very cost-effective way of not breaking the bank, but also it looks damn good and it's very unique. It's a bit of a different route, you know. And if one thing I would like to mention as well, this has already gone way on longer than I wanted it to. One thing I would like to mention as well is if you're a tournament organizer, I don't know why you've not jumped on this bandwagon yet. Sure, the stuff might not last that long, but when you look at the fact that how much terrain you can get, if you contacted like Patterson's and they'd do a good deal if they'd sponsor your event or something, it would be fantastic. You could really cut out your local event, your big events with so much terrain if you went this way, and it wouldn't cost you an arm and a leg, and it wouldn't take you much time as well. It's a really good balance between time and money. So I really, really like this stuff. Anyway, I have pointed out it's got some flaws, but I'm really excited to use this on the channel. I genuinely think it's going to provide a really unique little perspective to the whole channel. Now, the Gothic Ruins is actually the second set that I have put together. The first set that I put together was the Delta Outland Garrison. And I have to admit, I didn't do a very good job with this, but it's meant to be one quite big building, and I put together three small to medium-sized buildings with it, but it looks pretty good. But if you look at what I've done here and then compared it to here, I feel like the Gothic terrain looks much, much better, but I wouldn't hold it against this particular terrain set. This is, again, one of the cheaper terrain sets, and this cost me about 30 quid, and I got the ability to build 3 buildings out of it. What I'm definitely going to do with this stuff, though, is redo it and build it in almost what I would say is the proper configuration, because if you look at the building, it does look really, really good. But yeah, this stuff looks really good, and it just shows you the variety. You have ruined Gothic classic Warhammer ruins, and then you also have the ability to build sci-fi futuristic wasteland sort of Mars colony buildings as well. If we look at some of this stuff, again, that door would pop out, so would that shutter. These staircases, they all just get pushed together really easily. It's really, really good little terrain as well. This building was literally built out of spare parts. Like, it's fine, it's a cube, it's a big cube, but it's literally built out of spare bits that they give you in the set. So that gives you an idea of how much spare stuff you get. And again, look, another little 2-story building here. Now, I would definitely say, not to bang on about it, but I didn't build this stuff as well, so I'm definitely going to be reassembling it, disassembling and reassembling it, but that will take me, I don't know, half an hour. Like, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And it just gives you an idea of, look at all the extra scatter stuff that you get with this. Like, nearly all of this came with the terrain, with the Outlands Delta Garrison, I should say. Now, one other thing I want to mention about Patterson's is they sell some really cheap kits where you can literally just buy like one thing. So I think this cost me £5, and it came with a few extra bits like this console and a few other little bits. And same for what is essentially, let's be honest guys, the Stargate. So again, I think the Stargate was like £4 or £5, and this what they call particle transporter, it's basically a transporter, isn't it, from like Star Trek or something, that cost £4 or £5 as well. For, again, with discount from Goblin Gaming, it was very cheap. And you get these barricades, and you just get an idea of genuinely like how much extra bits and bobs you get. It's really, really cool. So they do some little unique little cool things, and they also do some big buildings, and they also do some really good ruins as well. Now, I've also got my hands on one of these core sets, and it's another one of the Outland Delta Garrisons, but it's the big one. So this set contains enough to build 2 of these big buildings. That's what I should have built. That's what I should have built with all that, with the sci-fi buildings. But I've got enough terrain in this kit to build 2 of them. You can see they've done some of the smaller buildings. So that means I'll have 3 big buildings, and it comes with an absolutely insane amount of scattered terrain as well. If you actually look at the different sizes difference, this is the Gothic Ruins box, 159 pieces, and it's literally half the size of the core sets. And these core sets are really good. Basically, if you want to get enough terrain to do all of your terrain in one go for your 1,000-point game, or maybe even 1,500-point game, just buy one of these core sets. The one thing I would say is these core sets do include a 2x2 neoprene battle mat. I don't think I'm ever going to use a 2x2 neoprene battle mat. I mean, maybe if I was doing old school Warhammer 1,000-point games on a 4x4 rather than a 6x4 table, but even then, so I wouldn't be too worried about the battle mat. However, I'm going to use it to redo these tables here, so I will find a use for it. But I definitely say if you don't need the battle mat, you could probably just go and just get 2 of the Delta Garrison sets. But what's interesting about this core set, I'll just flip it over now. If we zoom in here, what's interesting is you obviously get enough to build 2 of those buildings, but it also comes with loads of extra scatter terrain, so you get an absolute boatload of crates, you get an observation tower, you also get like some sort of research engineering thing as well. So it does come with a neoprene battle mat, but that essentially comes free and you get all this extra bit. So this is still probably worth it, but for the same price, you could just get 2 of these and the engineering set, but then you don't get the battle mat, so might as well get this, right? So this is really cool. You can see how many crates we're going to have between all these sets. So when I add it all up, I've probably spent about £150 overall on all this terrain. But that has got me one of the Gothic Ruins set, one of the Delta Garrison sets, essentially another 2 of those Delta Garrison sets from this box, the engineering little upgrade set, which is these 2, the particle transmitter, the Stargate, and a bunch of extra little scatter terrain. So I don't know why, I've run out of fingers basically, but I've got loads and loads of kits for about £150, and that is going to be more than enough for me to do my initial few battle reports. If this terrain, I don't want to like over commit to it. I mean, I have heavily committed to it, but I don't want to over commit to it, because if it does look like a big pile of poo on the battle reports, then, or it doesn't turn out to be as durable as I think it is, then I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. But I think it's going to be really, really good. I'm really excited for it, and I'm actually really looking to get my hands on the shantytown stuff, because I've got the ruins and I've got the pretty cool sci-fi looking buildings, but what I want is the really sort of rustic, kind of messed up mutant town, shantytown style buildings as well, which I think will look really cool. And when I throw it all together, it's going to look really, really good. So this is sort of a review. It's sort of a new terrain coming to the channel kind of thing. I hope you guys are excited for it. Please let me know what you think. I mean, be honest, if you think it looks like a big bag of crap, then tell me, like, fine, like, I'll still use it a bit, but, you know, we'll go back to sort of traditional terrain. I've got plenty of it. But if you think it looks pretty good, and if you're pretty excited for it, then please check it out. Battle Systems terrain, you can get it for sort of all over the place. They're pretty prolific. I can't believe I hadn't heard about it before. Yeah, so it is really, really cool. I mean, they do have their own game called Core Space, but I've sort of never played it, but you know, I imagine it is probably, I've heard it's quite good, but there's a lot of, you know, it's not as big as like 40k, like obviously, but this terrain is really quite cool. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is just throw a few miniatures down on this Gothic Ruins set, so you can see what it looks like when it's got actual Warhammer miniatures, you know, sort of in and around it. So here you can see the terrain with some models on. Got a platoon of Imperial Guardsmen, a couple of armoured fist squads led by a Lord Commissar, trying to hold off against the vile, insidious Necrons. So as you can see, when you place the models on it, it does look really, really good. I was a little worried that the terrain would look a bit weird next to the plastic models because it's cardboard, but actually looks really, really good. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I know it's a bit of a weird one, like it's half a review but not a review. It's like a reveal but not a reveal, but you know, it's just meant to be a bit of an informal, like, you know, where's the channel going and what am I thinking, what's going through the old brain pan. Of course, you know, Praise the Emperor's going through there on a loop 24/7, but you know, apart from that, what else is going through the old brain pan? And yeah, so I'm really excited to see where we can go with this terrain. My final sort of closing thoughts would be, out of the several kits I've put together now, the little kits, the big kits, and this Gothic Ruin kit, I would say hands down that I really like the Gothic Ruin kit. I would definitely go for this as my first pick if I was first getting into 40k and this was the terrain I was interested in. If I was to put together my first sort of 1,000-point game, I would definitely get a set of these mats from Games Workshop and 2 sets of the Gothic terrain and you'll have enough scatter, and I'm not even showing you all the scatter terrain that I got, guys, but you'd have enough scatter, enough terrain, a big enough board, and you get all that for about £60. And you can't really go wrong with that, if you win, especially if you're getting from a third party person. So I hope you guys have really enjoyed it. I hope you're excited. I hope it's both been useful, but also just generally nice to watch. Let me know what you think of the new terrain. Let me know what you think of the sort of general direction the channel's going in. Any suggestions, feedback, all that kind of stuff, bang it down in the comment section. I do read them all. I don't necessarily have time to reply to them all, but I can guarantee you I do read them all. And I guess the last thing to do really is to end this video with some just cool shots of the terrain of the guardsmen trying to stop those Necrons and bang some music on it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Enjoy the closing shots, and I'll see you guys next time.